Johanna, thank you so much for being on here.
Hello.
Absolute pleasure. Um, we were talking before that we were trying to get this together. I'm so glad that we were able to.
Me too.
And I'm very excited to have you on.
Of course, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. And that wraps it up of the Thank You podcast. Johanna, super stoked that you came on. No, but I wanted to get into it here with you. What initially got you interested in making music?
In making music. Well, there was a lot of music making in my household growing up. I think basically this Beatles anthology CD set that I found when I was like 6 or 7. I was obsessed with the Beatles when I was like 5. Well, let's say it was 6. I think it all started when I was like 6 or 7. But
More
yeah,
on the 6 side though, not on the 7. We're leaning towards 6, but it might have been 7.
Well, I feel like we watched the like Hard Day's Night and Help movies and the Imagine movie, which I've had some like conversations, and some people remember existing and some people don't. And I'm like, I believe that it exists, that there was like a movie of Imagine. I know now there's like a documentary, but I just remember being obsessed with the Beatles. But then I found this like CD, two disc CD Apple anthology part 2 box set.
Not part 1 though, just to be clear. No, but
I've since
part 2.
Well, I happened to find part 2 first.
Okay.
And I was obsessed with the songs on there. And then in our living room, it was like we had a CD player and then we had a piano. My grandmother was a pianist, and my mom has her piano that she played. So I would like always like I would like press play on the CD player and then like run to the piano and try and like figure out what I was hearing and like how to play them. And then that was kind of my in. And then later choir and all the nerdy stuff that comes along with making music.
That's a good lead in to music through the most popular band in the world.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of them?
I'm not, I mean, I know people that listen to them. I don't really know them that well. You know, they did have that one song that was really big.
Octopus's Garden. Yes.
Of course. A favorite of mine. The name always slips, but yeah, that's basically the only one that I know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Big fan of Ringo Starr, not so much that the other guys can't really remember their names. However, great musician. Yeah.
There's Daryl.
Yeah, of course. And then went on to create Hall & Oates, right? That was Daryl.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. We're just gonna rewrite the history of the Beatles on this podcast.
No, so 6 or 7, you're getting into music. You get into the volume 2.
Mm-hmm. I got into volume 2 at that point, and then it was like Meet the Beatles, and then it was Hard Day's Night, then it was Help. I started I really loved the harmonies on the early recordings. Like I was very into that. Like, yeah, I love harmonies so much.
It's good. It's good to hear. It's good if it's a good one. There's been some bad ones, and it kind of it kind of taints the flavor of it if it's not going so well.
Less into like vocal jazz, if that makes sense. Like acapella vocal jazz.
Sure, acapella vocal jazz. Mm-hmm. That was what I looked at my Spotify Wrapped, and it said, "Hey, you've listened to."
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, 12,000 minutes of vocal jazz this year. That's what it said. I said, wow. Did not think it was that much, but yeah, big fan of it. Yeah.
When I was in high school, there was like a vocal jazz choir, and it was like one of the advanced choirs. You had to audition for it, and I don't want to toot my boot, but I was like a part of a lot of the advanced choirs, so I was like really like into it. But so I auditioned for vocal jazz, and it was like, woo! It was really gnarly. But basically part of the audition was you had to like go around the circle and like scat.
Ooh, yeah.
And it was like a lot of, yeah, it was it was gnarly. But then when they got to me, like I was very like, I like always wanted to be like a theater kid or like do the plays and stuff, but like I was so timid, and that's why I liked choir, because it like gave me like a specific non-personal job. But
Mhm.
so the scatting was like kind of like my worst nightmare. And then they got to me and I was like, "Scabba-doo-wah, da-ba-doo-da," and like I did not get a call back. But then I saw them at the choir concert and it was so gnarly. I was like, it was like all white people like singing this song like chili con carne, and it was like really I was humiliated just watching it, and I was like, well, thank God I didn't get into it. Anyway, we can get back to the interview now.
No, no, you've I'm glad that you mentioned that. It's a good segue to this, and you have incorporated scatting within your own music. These past couple of albums
Yes.
had a few songs dedicated to it. Yeah, which I wanted to get into later, but now is good. Yeah, so I mean, eventually you said scatting is the shit, and I really got to get into this, and you really leaned heavily. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's my main bag.
sure, sure, yeah. And not, it's kind of like a niche thing right now, but you're really kind of making it have a resurgence, which is nice.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Thanks. Yeah, it's all me.
Yeah, good on you. Yeah, it's a heavy load to be carrying, but yeah.
Yeah, this cross to bear.
Um, so you get into the Beatles. That was kind of like the door that opened up for you in
Mhm.
terms of getting into music. Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
did you stick with the piano? Was that kind of the first instrument that you were learning, or?
Yeah, it was a piano situation. I there were piano lessons, um, and I had this teacher named Renee who I love. And I mean, I don't still take lessons with her, but she's around and I love her. But she would always try to get me to read music, and I like would be so sneaky and stubborn, and like she'd give me like, I had those books of things that you learn, and she'd be like giving me homework, and then I would try and remember how it sounded, and then I would try and copy what I thought I heard, and then she'd be like, "You are absolutely not reading the music," and I was like, "Yeah, and I never will." So, and then she was like, "Want to just learn how to sing instead?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then we started singing. Like she taught me like standards, and um I enjoyed that a lot. And then I'd be like, look at this like Ben Queller song I figured out. Like as I was, this was a later phase in my life, older. This was more around the vocal jazz period of my life. But
Yeah, that the era is very synonymous with you, and I know that was a huge kind of turning point. Yes, I understand.
and then as I got older, like she was like, are you gonna like I was, she was like, are you going to be like pursuing, like, are you gonna get serious about this and like learn how to be an opera singer? And I was like, whoa, should I? And then I was like, no.
But you thought about it for a minute. You contemplated being an opera singer.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a whole other route
Hmm. Probably
of
the
life.
one that you should have done, but you know what? We're here now, so that's good.
You know what? I regret every day.
Yeah. No, it's a tough one, but you just gotta progress through that. So how long afterwards of like kind of learning how to sing and getting the basics down that you started making music of your own? What was that time
That
frame
took
like?
a long time because I was, again, like really timid. I didn't really um, know how to take up space in that way. I wasn't confident. Um, so I loved learning other people's songs and then performing them. Like I was always into that. But then it wasn't until I was like 18 or so that I started writing my own songs. I had my first, heartbreak, and I
It's
was like,
bound
"Oh,
to
I got
happen.
I got stuff to say now."
Yeah. Yeah, it'll run you through the emotional course there. A good
Definitely.
breakup,
Yeah.
a young good breakup. Ooh,
The first love, come on.
that's gonna that's gonna ignite a
Woo!
different flame. Woo! Yeah, I
Hmm.
I hear you. I hear you. I sure do. So 18-ish is when you started kind of penning your own stuff and trying to figure out
Yeah.
what you
I
wanted
I
to
found
make.
I found like a little journal like probably like 6 months ago. And it was like lyrics 2003. And I was like, whoa, I guess I was like trying this on a little earlier, but like I don't remember any of those songs.
And you've since taken those lyrics and adapted them into your newer works. Yes.
Yes, this is this new record that's coming out. That's all 2003 lyrics.
So it took 20 years to kind of form, and so
Hmm.
this is your magnum opus right here.
This is my opus, yes.
Mhm.
And the title is called Vocal Jazz.
Oh, okay.
And uh,
Kind of on the nose there, but okay, yeah, yeah.
the first track is called Chili con Carne.
Hmm.
And I just really hope that it resonates.
Good lead in. Good lead in. Good intro. Jumping off point. Short.
Yeah.
What was going through your head, especially being so timid in your earlier years of with your with jazz and your vocal jazz and being in
Okay. Yeah.
in choir and whatnot, and having that timid feeling of
Yeah.
around music. How did you kind of stray away from that and break out of that feeling and start embracing what you wanted to make?
Hmm. I do feel like probably moving out of my home. I was, when you're 18, sometimes earlier people leave, but like that was when I was like living on my own. And I was kind of thinking for myself in a certain way. And then of course able to see home in like a different capacity. And I was like, oh, we're complicated. I was, leaving the nest.
Hmm. Hmm. Now, do you have any siblings?
I do.
Are you the youngest?
I am the eldest.
Okay, so it's you place the blame on the others of like, okay, you know
Oh
what? You deal with this when they're empty nesters. I'm the first one out. I'm good to go.
my God, it's so much more complicated than that. But yeah, no, at the time, okay. Me and my sibling are really good now.
Oh, so there's two in total. You and your sibling.
Yes. I have one half sibling and I have one whole sibling.
Okay, so three
But
of you all
but like
together.
my nuclear sibling, um, we're super tight.
Okay, good deal.
Mm-hmm.
So you left the house. You're making your way. You're making your own music.
Making my way. Yeah.
Making your way. Scatting.
Actually, I think that my sibling Beck um taught me like my first like three chords on guitar because Beck was playing guitar before me, and Beck was someone that always had that like mathematical brain like you know would play piano, also was taking piano lessons, and would be like playing like concertos and stuff, like reading music. um and yeah, so Beck taught me my first chords on guitar.
That's a good deal. That's
Hmm.
that, that's a good point to start with.
Hmm.
The three guitar chords you got all the Beatles songs down. I mean
Kind of, yeah.
that's just a fact that everybody knows that.
You're right.
Um,
Daryl especially.
short. I mean, if you want to get into it, I mean, we'll really get into it with the Beatles thing. Daryl Hall, his journey throughout that band.
Yeah.
So 18, you're starting to make your own music, right? And
Yes.
was this under your name? Was this
Yeah.
okay? So even that early on, you knew that you wanted to just make music under your own name.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I was just always like, I don't know. My songs are personal, so I never really yeah, it's that same thing of like, I couldn't really audition for theater because I'd be like, well, that's not me. Now I think I could.
Yeah, definitely. And you're gonna go back and do it, right? This is
Yes,
the
I'm pursuing acting after this
oh, good, okay.
podcast.
Oh, wow, today, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
It's quick, but you're on it. It's good.
yeah.
How did it feel when you started to, or that they when you knew that you wanted to start making your own music? What was going through your mind at that time? Were you like a little bit nervous about it? Were you excited for it? Were you ready for it in hindsight?
In hindsight, I had no idea what I was like doing. Like I remember vividly, I like made this record in my closet on GarageBand, very high. And then I like one night, just like, I don't know what came over me, but I sent it to like a bunch of blogs that I always looked at. And then like 5 or 6 of them like posted about it. And then I remember talking to my friend Andrew about it on the phone. I was like, yeah, like this is like crazy. And he was like, what, are you gonna like be a musician now? And I was like, yes.
I mean,
And
you already
now
were. You're already published. If people are talking about you, you got some buzz
I
around
was
you. Yeah,
like,
it's like I already am.
this is it for me.
Mhm.
Like, meanwhile, like 16 years later, people are like, wow, you're really just like popping up overnight. I'm like, yeah, no.
Why don't you go back to the archives of Brooklyn Vegan and find me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you take a step back? I've been doing this for a minute. Okay. Go talk to Andrew
Okay.
about it. He knows.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't you hit up Andrew?
Call
He'll
him.
tell you.
Here's his cell.
Here's his cell.
Now, these songs that you were making early on, it was just you, right? There was nobody else involved.
Totally.
Wow.
GarageBand made that all possible. I got like, I remember I bought myself for my first job a little MIDI keyboard from Guitar Center. And that was like the main form of it, was like, because you could play anything. And I just made the whole thing on like the drums were like do da, like, and then some loops.
Of course,
Was
gotta have them. Gotta
it
have
was
them.
the solo endeavor.
Mhm. Now, when was the first time that you started performing these songs live, or was this kind of in in that same time frame that you decided to expand and start doing it
Mhm.
and performing these songs?
Yeah, it was relatively quickly. Looking back, I'm like, who the fuck did I think I was? Because I was like, not, I learned how to do it on on stage, and I have some dear best friends that have seen every learning experience. They've been to all my shows, but like, yeah, I started playing at this. My first show was at the Sidewalk Cafe in the East Village in New York, and it was just me. But yeah, I was like, yeah, probably that year, 19, I'd say.
Wow. Young
Yeah.
and
I
hungry
was
with a
I was young
keyboard
and
and a dream.
hungry. Yeah, a keyboard and a dream.
Maybe a little bit high. Who knows?
Who
You're
knows?
running around.
100%, a
You
lot of
wouldn't
bit high.
you wouldn't know because you were high. Yeah. Gotcha.
Couldn't tell you.
I remember those above the influence commercials, supposed to be above it. Ruin your
I
life.
was underneath. Yeah,
I
I
was
was
definitely
below.
right below it. Way down there. How did you know that you wanted to play these songs solo and just by yourself? Or did you have an idea of like, oh yeah, I want to play with people eventually?
Yeah, it was like I wanted to play with people. Obviously, I just never had. And so I did a solo show, and then my best friend Becca um grew up with her friend Ken, who was like around and like went to our school, and he plays guitar, and we started playing together, and that was like awesome. And then I remember we did that for a while, and then I put in an ad on Craigslist for a bass player. And then I met my friend Turner, and he was in my band for a while when I lived in New York, and then did the same thing with a drummer. Later did the same thing with my other guitar player friend, Dan Kanishkawi, who has his own project called Adeline Hotel. And yeah, Craigslist served me well in those days.
It's the list. You can find anything on there, including
Yeah.
bandmates, furniture,
Yeah.
broken bicycles. The list
Yeah.
goes on and on and on. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ever expansive. Sure.
Misconnections. Mhm.
If somebody's checking that misconnection that you're posting and it's that person, I don't think you want to be hanging out with that person, you know?
Right.
That's just my
But like,
theory on it.
what about like a Sleepless in Seattle moment?
I'm pretty sure that they didn't have Craigslist in that movie. And it's been a minute since
No,
I've seen it.
they didn't, but like that energy, that like, you know, like it's like we really did connect. Like, I wonder what happened to that person. And then it's like, there they are.
Sleeping in Seattle. Yeah.
Sleeping.
Sure, that's where they are, huh? They're
They're
in the
sleeping in
area.
Seattle.
Maybe you're in
Yeah.
Tacoma, but take a drive down, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Tom
Yeah.
Hanks was in that, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Yes.
He was also in You Got Mail, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And also within that genre, he was also in Captain Phillips. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Same kind of scenario.
I
Different
was
kind of love.
okay. I feel like all we do, like you've asked me like 2 questions because I can't stop joking around. But like,
But that's what's fun about this. Okay. Yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah. We discuss music, but we're also talking about Tom Hanks. It takes different forms, this podcast.
Okay, cool. I'm glad. But I have this whole fucking, are we allowed to curse?
You can say where the heck you want. Go ahead.
Okay. When the when the preview for Captain Phillips came out, I was obsessed with it, and I loved it. Like, I created this whole skit where like Tom Hanks calls his mom and tells his mom that he got the part of Captain Phillips. Like, he's like, "Mom, I got it. I'm Captain Phillips. Thanks. That's it." But I thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever created.
Yeah, no, and you did audition, and we were supposed to get into this earlier on, but it's fine.
Yes.
You auditioned for SNL, and that was your opening
Yes.
thing.
It went badly. I also auditioned for the role of Captain Phillips. That also went badly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, but you have this actress kind of quality to you in this theater side of you that wants to be projected into film.
It's hungry.
Yeah, you're staying hungry. And then also I heard that you did get the role for Captain Phillips and you were on set, but you would not turn down your keyboard. That was also an issue that arose during that time. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad.
But live and learn. Yeah. But you're
So
in the new Tom Hanks movie, right? Otto. Yes.
yes,
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
I played Tom Hanks in that movie.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah,
Because it was billed as Tom Hanks, but I guess they kind of got to drive the people in to see you
he
perform.
plays Otto.
Okay.
And I play Tom Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
It's Otto, like OTTO.
Yeah, it is. I just saw a trailer for it, a commercial for the trailer on TV.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
it was always a dream of mine to work with Tom.
And to be Tom on screen
Mm-hmm.
with Tom. Very meta.
With Tom.
Very meta.
Yeah.
No.
Truly.
Good deal. Getting back to music though, and I
Why?
I know we should just keep on talking about Tom Hanks. and we'll veer back. Don't worry. That's we're still
I'll find a way.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Now you do play with a band currently quite
Mm-hmm.
often.
Yeah. I do solo as well.
Okay.
But yes.
But is it more of that you're playing with a band or more solo now?
It totally depends on what is required.
Hmm.
Like if I'm, because I tour a bunch, excuse me. So oftentimes when I'm doing opening slots, it makes more sense for me to play solo, um, just in terms of the financial situation, but also it totally depends on what the headliner wants. Um, like last year, I was on tour with Fruit Bats for a while, and he was like, "My band's pretty like rocking, so like I don't want you going out there playing like a solo set to like a bunch of like drunk people." Um, and then we had a band, and it was really fun.
Awesome.
It totally depends. But yeah, often if I'm playing, I don't know. I feel like I play so many shows now that every show calls for a different situation, but I love playing with my band.
It does seem nice to play with a band. It does, yeah.
Oh,
It seems
it's
seems
the
like
best.
it's a good deal. Um,
Hmm.
so and this kind of band activity started in New York, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I lived in New York for 10 years. So I kind of came up in New York. And then the second there was like, then when I moved to LA, it was like a whole other page.
Hmm. What drove you out to LA? What was the kind of deciding factor in
Um,
moving?
yeah, I was in a long-term relationship. And he moved to New York for me. And he's a California boy. So after about 5 years in New York, he was like, I'm really ready to go back. I miss California. And I was like, all right, let's go.
Very nice.
Yes.
That's nice of you to it's a give and take with relationships. You got to make
Oh yeah.
sacrifices. Hmm.
Oh yes. Of
Sure,
course.
sure, sure. So what now, was he originally from Los Angeles?
Yes.
Okay, so you were already jumping into this new environment in the center of where was ideal for you to continue your music.
Yeah, like I was in New York. I had been in New York for about 4 years, 5 years. And then um we went to the same high school. I was born in New York and then grew up in LA and then moved back to New York. So I
Okay.
um yeah, we didn't date in high school or anything, but we reconnected when I was um home on like a winter break from college. I feel like this is
No, this is great, but I also just wanted to point out, and correct me if I'm wrong. I did read this that he did get into vocal jazz and you didn't get into vocal jazz. Was that is that
yeah,
correct?
that was
Okay.
when we started to kind of take two different roads.
Hmm.
And the
Right, right,
love
right.
was there, but we were very different in
Yeah.
our vocal training.
Sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are good for just a song.
Ah!
You know,
He was good for more than that, but yes.
I'm just saying that that's an
Some people
analogy.
are just a song.
Some people are just
Yes.
a song. Yeah. And when the song ends, the dance is over.
The dance has ended. Yes,
Hmm.
that's correct.
And that fuels more passion to make songs, and everybody knows that.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely. Um, Going back to California from making, because the project was made in New York, right? Like that's where it was. You
Yeah,
started it. Mhm.
totally.
Going back to California with your band, what was the
Mhm.
kind of differences that you experienced from like the difference between what was going on in the music scenes of New York and what was going on in the music scenes of LA?
Totally. It was different, but awesome. I formed a different band, and um, I I had a friend, Sean O'Brien, who was in New York and played a bunch, and I'd see him out a lot, and we'd go to shows and stuff, and then he was like, I'm moving back to LA. Hit me up if you're ever there. And then when I was moving back, I was like, okay, the only person I know that does music in LA is Sean. So I linked up with him almost immediately. And then he was like, I've been playing with these dudes, and we started making a record together, and it happened really naturally, but it all happened through my friend Sean O'Brien, who's so damn talented and the best, and one of my best friends. But yeah, then, I think as time has gone on, I've found that I, I'll play with different people, and whoever's playing with me is the band.
It's always changing, revolving door, fresh blood.
It's a revolving door.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
What was the duration between Sean moving to LA and you following suit? What was the time duration between both your guys'
Ooh, I'd say like a
departures from
year,
New York? A year.
year and a half. Yeah. Not too long,
Okay, yeah.
but
Kind of
yeah,
365 days ish, right around
ish.
ish.
I'd say 380. I don't know.
Just ballpark, yeah, ballpark 380. It sounds good.
I'd say
380.
425 days.
A bit more than 380, but that's fine. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I
Rough
was being
number.
realistic when I thought about it. Yeah.
But I do appreciate, yeah. I mean, just
Mhm.
ballparking a number. It is
Yeah,
sometimes difficult to get your brain in that space, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah. You're welcome.
Did your move from New York to back to California, did that kind of impact what was motivating you to create songs and the
For
subject
sure.
matter?
Yeah. I wrote like a whole record about it that Sean produced. It's called Home and Dry Told a Lie, available streaming everywhere currently.
It's very natural plug. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple, YouTube,
Go get it.
SoundCloud. I don't know. Wherever
Probably.
wherever you get the music, that's where it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. Does it feel different from what you're making now? Can you do you feel in your music that you've gotten more comfortable with living within California from looking at that album in your most recent album or more recent albums?
Oh, yeah. Well, yes, I'm more comfortable, but I will forever be torn between the two, I think. I really do think that I'm very much myself when I'm in New York.
Do you think you'll ever move back?
It's possible. I don't know. The past few years I've really been touring so much that I don't know. And I have my beloved dog, June, who I share with my ex-partner who I moved here with. So I would never take her away from him. And so that roots me here for now.
Very nice. It's a good.
Yeah.
So that's really the only thing that's cementing you in within California is the dog. Otherwise, you would just bounce immediately. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm gathering from what you're saying.
I don't know.
No, that's good. That's good that it's still on the table, though, at least in the on the back burner.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely roots me here. As time goes by, I'm more and more comfortable here, and I think I've conquered enough of my Los Angeles demons that I think I would be comfortable staying, and I feel safer here than I did like before. I grew up here, so there's like all my childhood shit I had to sort out. Vocal jazz I had to conquer.
I was just gonna say, and in
Mhm.
your old lyric books and sorting through that, I understand. If you didn't have that that sort of past experience with LA before moving from New York and back to
Yeah.
LA, do you think that you would view California differently if you
Oh,
didn't
I'm
have that
sure.
preset? Okay.
I'm sure. But also, I do think that in my heart, I am an East Coaster and a New Yorker. And I think that that is a different type of communication style. And I don't think that I am suited for Los Angeles in that way. I think that Los Angeles has a more passive, indirect way of communicating. in general on the whole. And I think that I have definitely, I mean, there are so many exceptions, and you curate the people in your life, as I've come to find in my 30s. So I have amazing friends here who communicate beautifully. But there's just a whole different thing here. There's like it's more of an industry town. Have you ever heard that about LA?
I have heard that. Yeah. That is a concept that I have heard. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the entertainment capital of the world.
Whoa, what? That's I'll fact check that. I'll make sure that if it's not, I will fix it in post.
Yeah,
But
yeah, fix that in
that's
post.
that's new news. What is the best piece of advice that somebody has given you in regards to music?
My friend Josh told me once, I was like, um, we were talking about how hard it was or something, and it was over text, and I said like, like, do we just like stop making music? And then he was like, what else is there? And then I don't know if that's advice,
No, no,
but
I'll accept that. That it's
it
definitely
resonated.
yeah.
And I also I was reading an interview with Chris Christopherson, and he said something to the point of like, I would tell my younger self to like relax and enjoy it, because like it will work out. I feel like I've spent so much of my life like in turmoil about like, will it, won't it? Like, I want this so bad. And then, if you're a lifer, you're going to keep making music. And I think just, yeah, enjoying it, enjoying making music. That's always the thing that brings, it's a constant cycle for me of um, the joy of creating music, and then the things that come after it, and getting hooked in that, and then being disappointed by that, and then forgetting why you do it, and then remembering like, oh God, I love songwriting, I love playing music with my friends, and then it starts you again. But yeah, enjoying it, and just letting go a little bit, just like, you got to trust,
It's
do it
crucial,
because you love it.
right? And Chris Christopherson, I mean, one of the best jazz musicians to ever walk this earth, talking
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
my, yeah,
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 super, super good. Yeah.
yeah, that's my dad. So
Oh, wow. Okay. Very musical background. Very cool.
just kidding.
Very, very cool. No,
I love you, Chris.
yeah, I do too. I mean, on a serious note, "Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys" with Willie Nelson, one of the best
Woo!
country songs.
Yeah, he's also so hot.
He's a handsome fella. I'm not.
He sure
I
is.
can't deny that. But yeah. With Willie Nelson, one of the, in my opinion, one of the
Did
greatest.
you just say Blaney Nelson?
Yeah, Blaney Nelson, of course. Yes. No, I said Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson, one of the greatest uh musicians, I would say. It for
Yeah,
me, that's a PO, personal opinion.
that's
Um,
a PO.
it's a PO.
No, I'm with you.
It's a
Who could argue
CPO,
that?
classic. Personal opinion. I don't know,
Yeah.
but the greatest live performance I've seen out of all the
Wow.
shows I've been to, Willie Nelson.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. I've never seen Willie live.
you gotta go see him.
I want to.
He plays with your boyfriend Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
Yeah, very,
Wow.
very,
Wow.
very, very good performance. The best that I've seen.
Damn. Yeah, I gotta catch him.
Yeah, you do. You should, and
Yeah.
everybody should. Everybody listening to this, go see Willie Nelson. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
Now going back to your music, that
Mm-hmm.
is very similar to Willie Nelson's
Mm-hmm.
in the way that you perform. And
Yeah.
I know you like to wear a cowboy hat while on stage.
Mm-hmm. And wear braids a lot.
Yes, 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 yes. Kind of encapsulating his essence.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
While piecing together these songs that you are making, is it usually that you're hashing out the music first and then the lyrics, or vice versa, or somewhere in the middle?
It's so interesting. When I started writing music, it was like I was like lyrics. I had so much to say. And then I wrote music to it. And then it kind of morphed into a musical thing and the lyrics came. And then now I really just do what comes first. Like there will be times where I will be driving and I'll be like, oh snap, that's a lyric. And then I'll like kind of finish off the thought of either like whatever it is going to be a verse or a chorus hooky kind of thing. I don't know, whatever it is thought wise or that feels right with the words and like that. And then music after, or like it could be like one lyric, like, or I have just the words of a chorus and then I build a song around that. Um, but oftentimes I'll sit down and play and then something will come. So it's really a bit of both.
Gotcha. Now going back to it feeling right and feeling like that's what it needs to be. How often is it that you initially feel that something is right, whether within a lyric or the music itself or a melody, um, and then you're kind of playing it and hashing it out, and it turns out that there's something that accelerates it.
It happens all the time because like I'll sit with something and I'll voice memo it and I'll be like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm pausing. This feels right. And then like I'll come back to it and um I'll be like, oh, like I'll play it and then something else feels different. Like something feels good when I'm doing that. And then I'm like, right, that is more fully formed to me. And then lyrically too, it's like there have been so many times I'll often, you know, if there's like there's a song on my last record that I have permanently just changed the lyric to.
Whoa.
Um, yeah, just because it just like feels more complete now. And I happen to have recorded it before it was actually feeling, I thought it was complete when we did it. But yeah, like didn't Bob Dylan on the Rolling Thunder review tour like change the lyrics all the time? I mean, I know he was like really coked out and stuff, but he was like saying what was like just he was changing the lyrics on the stage.
Yeah, same as Tom Hanks does while
He does
he's
that all the
rehearsing.
time.
Yeah,
Very
it's
hard to work with.
yeah, as you know, as I mean, you of all people would understand.
I would know.
Yeah,
I've played him. I've worked with him.
I've studied
A
him.
nightmare.
Yeah,
A nightmare.
yeah, but boy does he deliver.
Boy, does he deliver.
In auto coming out whenever the fuck
An
it comes out.
Oto.
Oto.
An Oto coming.
I really hope I had that title correct, and if I don't, I'm sorry. I think it is just called Oto.
An Oto.
Um, with not your most recent album, but the album that came out before that, Excelsior.
Yeah.
And I have that correct, right? That was the
Mhm.
one that came out before your most recent one that's out now. Where did the title Excelsior come from?
Yeah, that was my grandfather who passed away when I was getting ready to put the record out. He used to sign all of his letters and emails with Excelsior and the exclamation point.
That's awesome.
Because it means ever upward in Latin. So I figured it felt like the right thing.
That's killer. It stands out. It does, and of course, like the meaning of the word, like you just described, stands out. It's a good pairing.
Thank you.
Hmm. Now getting to a more serious kind of side of
Okay.
this. I read that you said of this record, quote, "There's a lot of cognitive dissonance, waiting to pursue my music while also being able to feel good about who I am as a person. This record is a lot of me identifying what I don't want to be." And that seems like you really looked inward for this album.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. All the songs. in that way, when I say the record is a time capsule, it really, really, I mean, all records are, but this was a very complicated point in my life. And I was writing songs from a place of feeling very depersonalized. And I was in it in the beginning of kind of like a very dark period of my life. And some of the like issues that I was mentioning before about just like coming to terms with Los Angeles and coming to terms with entertainment as an industry, and like just the behaviors that I was coming across in myself and like running into in the music like world, and what that meant. And yeah, just I came into songwriting from such a wholesome place. It was just about like expression and enjoying making music with people. And then it felt like all of a sudden there's this whole other element of the entertainment industry that it makes me feel like I'm like at camp and I want to go home, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I always look inward in terms of writing, just because it's part of like why I write. I'm like trying to understand the world that I live in and myself and the people around me. But I definitely think that this was the first time I had run into these kind of questions in terms of how I wanted, or like this was the running into like, wait, I love doing this, but there's a lot of this that does not make me feel good. And so it was very much the first time I had been exploring that.
Looking back on it now, with a year and some change of time between its release and where we currently are now, how do you view those songs? Do you view them any differently than when you were either writing them or recording them?
Yeah. I was very much in it when I was um, writing and recording them. And then after, there was a period where the record was done and it wasn't out. And life was continuing on. And all of these issues were still kind of like revealing themselves to me. So, there was a period where I couldn't really handle listening to the record in general, just because I was in too much pain. And it's this past year I've been able to listen to it, and like when people tell me that the record means a lot to them, I have an actual context of being like, oh right, I've heard that recently. Like it's actually like its own living thing now. And I'm super proud of that record. I think that the songs are super cool. I think Sam did a great job. I think the players did a great job, and I'm really proud of it.
Right. And Tom Hanks, the little thing on the back that he wrote for it, it's very nice.
He wrote the
His quote.
foreword to the record, which is incredible.
Yeah. Very, very. I don't
Yeah,
know how I don't know how you swung that, and then because I know
he
that was
begged me to do it.
okay, because I know that like later on, of course, you had worked with him afterwards after that.
Yeah,
But
he's been a
okay.
huge fan of mine for a very long time.
Right. Second person he called when he got Captain Phillips, I heard. Yeah.
I actually called his mom to tell her.
Oh, you broke the news first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know how you got that number. That's crazy, but awesome.
Yeah.
In the follow-up to Excelsior was the most recent release, Scam
Mhm.
Likely.
Mhm.
Now, where the heck did that name come from? I understand that you like to prank call people a lot and
A
real call
lot.
people.
Mhm.
Yeah, with Tom Hanks's mother, of course.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that did somebody tell you that your phone number came up as Scam Likely on their phone, and that's why
Yeah.
you're like, okay, that's the title of it.
People started calling me that. I'd walk into a room and they'd be like, "Jeez, Scam Likely."
And you're always trying to
2
sell people
o'clock.
on some stuff. Yeah. And you're a door-to-door salesman. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't have a title for it. Basically, so these songs are like a selection of songs that I recorded with my friend Josh Kaufman in 2021. And we decided to take like a few of those songs and put them on an EP, and then they're also going to be a part of a record that's coming out this year. And I didn't have a name for a long time, and then I got one of those phone calls and I was like, oh, there it is, that's the title.
It's a good title. I do
Thanks.
like it.
Thanks so much.
You got it. The song "Could You" is on that EP that was recently released, and the
Yes.
song features Josh Kaufman and Eric Johnson. What made you want to feature some outside people on your song?
Yeah. Well, I love doing that. Like, it's one of my favorite things. That's kind of why I make music. I just want to connect with people. So like,
Tom
whether
Hanks, these
that's
kind of people. Yes.
yeah, it's all about the connection. No, I mean connect in a different way. I mean connect like, like I see you, dude. I connect with you.
Right. Being a Scam Likely, being an SL. These
And as
these all come together.
yeah. But so Josh, I mean, I look up to Josh and Eric so much. And when we decided, me and Josh, that we were going to make a record together, he was like, I have a bunch of music that I've like recorded that isn't like, I have a bunch of instrumentals that I've worked on. Like, would you ever want to he essentially was saying, do you ever want to co-write? I don't know. I can't communicate, but like,
we need to fill up this time somehow. So I'm really glad that we took the scenic route, as I like to say.
It's going to be a 4-hour podcast.
Yeah. And of course, we got to do the promo stuff, and then that takes, I mean, at least a good 45. So yeah, no, it's good.
No, yeah. So he asked me if I wanted to co-write, and it's going to be a mini podcast. He asked me if I wanted to co-write. I said absolutely. I look up to you so much, and then he sent me a bunch of things that he had recorded, and I love them all. This one spoke to me a lot musically, and then I wrote oh, could you? We co-wrote 2 songs. But yeah, then we were talking about writing with Eric as well. And he wrote like, so we had the music, I wrote the verses, and then Eric wrote that hooky chorus, and then it kind of really came together all like pretty naturally. And it was so fun to do, and we did it all from different places. Like, I was on tour, and Josh was in upstate New York, and Eric had just moved back down to LA. And then he also recorded his vocals on tour. They're in a band called Bonnie Light Horsemen. So Josh recorded Eric's vocals like in a hotel. And yeah, we finished it, and it was cool. I love it.
Wow, the process to getting that done is also a journey within itself.
Totally.
Awesome. And I mean, you've been so busy recently. It seems like because we mentioned this before, and the newest album is coming out later on this year.
Yeah,
that's a lot of stuff back to back.
So all the songs were recorded together. We like, it was part of like, me and Josh set out to make a record, and we just recorded a lot, and we recorded more than I thought, and so I was lucky. But they're all part of the same sessions, and I think they sit together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It was all recorded in a hotel room when you were on tour, correct? Your parts of this.
No,
You just stayed. It was
we
in
just stayed. Yeah, we
Kentucky, right?
actually stopped that tour.
Yeah. You're like, we gotta pause this. We gotta make the record.
Yeah,
And people
yeah,
said,
no,
do you want to go back to LA and make it? You said, nope, I'm here now. I'm gonna make it now, right?
yeah, right now,
Okay,
right
good
now.
deal.
It was all recorded in upstate New York again, like Excelsior, just a different location, and it was recorded at the studio called the Isicon, and it was engineered by Dan Goodwin, who is amazing, works on a lot of things, works often with Josh, and he mixed and mastered it as well. And it was the studio that they kind of record at most. And it was actually the last recording session that was there before they closed, and now they're moving to a different location. But yeah, it was really special to make. I loved making it. It was very healing.
Aside from music, you also do a bit of drawing and painting as well, correct?
Oh yeah, I do.
Wow. When did you start doing that?
I love drawing, and I kind of always doodled, and I loved, yeah, I loved to draw. I
And
always kind of have, but I never really like pursued it seriously. I used to actually work for Sears, and I did textile design for tween and baby pajamas and swimwear.
wow,
Yeah, so I do like the patterns for their little outfits.
you do make flyers on occasion, correct? For
Yeah, I'd love
gigs.
to do that.
Wow, that's
Yeah, if
awesome.
you need a poster, people, if you need a poster, you just hit up your girl.
Is that no? Is that best through the Instagram? Because you do have
Yeah,
an
probably.
Instagram for that, right?
Yeah, I sure do.
And I don't know the handle of it. Do you know the handle off the top of your head?
Oh my God. Johanna Samuels design.
That sounds right.
It's so funny. I've never talked about this on a podcast.
We're breaking new ground. How does drawing and painting differ from making music for you?
Huh. Um, it's funny. I'm like obsessed with movies too. And I know
No,
like
you, Captain Phillips, that kind of stuff. I would have never
no,
pegged you
but
as a
like
movie person.
so when I was younger, I wanted to be a filmmaker, and um I still love filmmaking and films in general, but like I feel like it's like three tiers of like immediacy. I feel like um it takes so many elements to make a film. And then I fell in love with songwriting because it felt way more immediate to me. Like no one can tell you how to write a song in a way, you know? Um, and then even more immediate than that, I think, is drawing. Because
Because
it's just
it's right there, right then.
mm-hmm, exactly.
But Joanna, I really do appreciate you coming and sitting down and chatting. It was
This is so nice.
about 30 minutes. This has been an absolute pleasure. Um, no, really, all of it has, and I really do appreciate you sitting down and chatting with me. But before I do let you go, I got some promo to do here. So,
Okay.
Joanna's music streaming everywhere, wherever you get your music, that's where you are. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, awesome. And the people can go support you directly through the Bandcamp. Is that the best place, or is that one of
That's
the
the
best
best.
places?
That's the best place. Or
All right,
just fucking Venmo me, dude.
Venmo. But the Bandcamp is joannasamuels.bandcamp.com. Yes?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. Spelled like
And
the Bob Dylan song. Johanna.
Visions.
Visions. Yep.
Yeah, the Bob Dylan song called Visions in brackets of Joanna.
Yeah.
That was a working title of that. That wasn't what was printed. And
Yeah.
of course, as you know, he always changes stuff up, and it was actually going to the printing plant. He said, whoa, hold it. And then he actually put it in
Wait.
brackets.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He loves brackets.
Tambourine Man in brackets before that, Mr. People don't pay attention to this stuff. It's out there. It's hiding in plain sight.
Phillips. parentheses captain.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Your guy
Yeah.
Hanks. Yeah, with an X,
Yeah.
by the way, because that's how he signs
Hanks.
off. And I believe
Yeah,
that's true. I believe I had that correct. I'm not gonna go check.
No, I know that to be true.
Okay.
If I know Tom, I know that to be true.
I know Tom like I think I do.
Yeah.
Also these more recent releases can be found of your music, not Tom Hanks's and not Bob Dylan's, but your music can be found at mamabirdrecordingco.com for the most recent ones.
Excelsior is out on Mama Bird. Scam Likely I released independently, and that, yeah, I mean it's all on the streamers. It's all on my Bandcamp, and Excelsior you can get through Mama Bird, and like that.
At johannasamuels.com you can find the videos and art and shows and news and all that good stuff there.
It's true.
All right, good
That's
deal.
true.
And some portraits as well.
That's true. I totally forgot that I put some of those up there.
I didn't. So that's where you can go find them. And outside of the website, you can stay up to date with everything else by following you on Instagram, right? And that's at Johanna Samuels, no underscores, no funny business, straight up and down.
Yep, just my name, at.
And you got a lot of good stuff coming up. So if you're in the Los Angeles area, go check out that Instagram, because you got a busy month, right? This month in February.
Yeah, February. Oh my gosh, I'm playing Carnegie Hall. If you're in New York or in the New York area, I'm so excited. I'm gonna play Carnegie Hall with
Forgot about that.
some legends, some absolute legends.
That's that New York accent coming out. Finally.
Yes.
Yeah.
My East Coast accent. Yeah.
Bit Australian though, but yeah.
I don't hear that.
Yeah, I know. It's to a trained ear. No, that is amazing though. Carnegie Hall. That's exciting, right?
I'm excited.
Gonna do some scatting. Yeah.
I'm gonna scat at Carnegie Hall for 3 hours.
Wow.
Straight.
Whoa. Okay. All right. 3 hours with some breaks, with some brackets. Makes sense. But 3 hours straight, that's a whole nother ball game. No, Johanna, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And
sorry, I'm such a freak.
No, it's fine. Edit this and it'll all be good. But I mean, right now it looks appalling, but when it comes out, it's gonna be.
I get that a lot.
Smoothed out. Johanna, you're amazing. I'm gonna talk to you in a second. I'm gonna stop recording this. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right.